Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, July 21st, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is twitch.tv/Andy Cortez.
Good morning, Blessing. We just talked a bit about Coke Zero and the health benefits, and I think the world will finally hear about this science and understand that just go with Coke Zero from now on. Kevin, not too happy about Coke Zero and how it's sort of impacting his life, but I think it's the way to go now. I think it's
what is
the
the science? What is the argument for Coke Zero?
I think it uses a sugar that gives you cancer if you drink too much of it. So,
okay. Let science kind of dictate that, Kevin. Okay.
Where did I go? Hold on. There it is.
What's happening, Kevin?
Nothing. Don't worry. No one.
I listen to the scientists, Kevin. Okay. So.
Damn.
I feel like fake sugar not good. Not good. That's what the scientists have said.
But like sugar's not good either, right? Regular sugar is not good for you.
Yeah, but they're bad in different ways. Also, because it's lower in calories, it tricks your body into thinking you're gonna get more calories, which then makes you hungry. Isn't that weird?
The human body's a weird thing, Kevin. Human body's a weird thing.
Speaking of that, I decided this morning that I wasn't going to do my regular McDonald's iced coffee. And I do want your iced coffee update, Andy, because I always love to get the, if you're drinking the Frappuccinos.
Not one today.
Not one. Are you drinking anything today?
I'm drinking my Mountain Dew Rise. Pomegranate blueberry with zero added sugar. Don't ask me to look at the actual
That can't be better for you.
Yeah, no, it isn't. It isn't.
That sounds like
talked about it. He got really mad that one time we brought it up.
Caffeine equal to approximately 2 cups of coffee, 0 added sugar, 5% juice, zinc, vitamin A and C, and antioxidants. It sounds like this is the drink that everybody should be drinking, just based on what I read.
Not. So. Just it isn't. Just so everyone knows.
This is the one that LeBron James drinks.
I've gone back to my morning tea out of my Rick and Morty mug. No sugar in this, which is usually a thing I don't do. I know I usually, when I first joined Kind of Funny, I was infamous for doing the 4 cubes of sugar. But today I'm not doing any sugar.
I love that.
Yeah, today I've been trying to go a little bit more healthier, and so I'm going no sugar in my tea.
Did you actually use the sugar cubes that we had at Kind of Funny?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I was the only person using those.
Definitely. Yeah. 100%.
Plus, I think there's a lot of things about you that make you, I think, a cool, unique dude, and I think that the fact that you drink tea, that's a cool thing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's similar to Han in Fast and Furious eating little chips all the time. I think Bless drinking tea is a cool thing, and I think there's a show there. I had somebody shocked that my drink of choice when it comes to alcohol is whiskey, because that whiskey apparently is more for the seasoned drinker. Like people associate whiskey with like maturity, whiskey. And I'm like, no, whiskey tastes good. That's why I like it. I'm not trying to be mature. I'm not trying to be seasoned. I just like the taste of it.
That your drink of choice is straight whiskey is weird.
Really? I mean, I like old fashions too, but like straight whiskey, I feel like this is so good.
No, it's good. It's great.
It has a pop to it. It's spicy. It's spicy.
You can't party for too long if you're going with just 2 fingers of whiskey.
Exactly. I'm trying to get there quicker.
Like we've seen
that's how I party.
Get there.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Also, Andy, I was so excited when I found out Blessing was a tea man that I got him a whole bunch of tea, and I was like, we can keep the office stocked with teas if you tell me what flavor you like.
Dude, I was
excited for that, and then everything shut down.
No joke, I can't wait to get back to the office so that I can have Kevin be my regular tea stock guy, because I do have a bunch of tea out in my kitchen. I have 3 flavors, right? I have my regular Lipton Earl Grey tea. I have chamomile tea for when I go to bed at night. But then I also have chocolate mint tea, which I got just off a whim. I saw it on a website that I was going on to buy tea, and I saw chocolate mint, and I was like, that sounds like a risk. That sounds like it could go one of 2 ways. It could be the greatest thing or the worst thing. And let me tell you, it was the greatest thing. I've never made a better decision when it comes to tea flavors than that chocolate mint tea.
I like that. That sounds very cool. The fact that when I think of tea drinkers, for me now, it's Blessing Adeoye Jr. and it's Sir Patrick Stewart.
Wow. I thought you were going to say Gary Whitta. Sir Patrick Stewart. Wow.
Oh, wow. Gary Whitta? Oh, the guy who sucks at Mario Golf? Yeah.
Oh.
Never heard of him.
Took it there. Andy. Enough about how much Gary Whitta sucks at Mario Golf. Let's talk about video game news. Today's stories include new details on Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, new details on Netflix's gaming expansion, and more, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kind of Funny Games Daily. To be a part of the show, to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free with the exclusive daily post show. The thing that's dangerous about the T2 is that I don't have the edge. I don't have the coffee edge that I feel like I usually have at the beginning of the show, where anything can happen. I can say anything, like somebody.
No, you can't.
People compare it to, like just doing a line of crack right before the show. That's how coffee is for me. But I don't have that, and so I'm calm blessed today. I don't have the energy.
I think that's fine though. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think we balance each other out pretty well. I woke up like at 9 and I missed all my alarms. I don't know what the hell that was all about. I think I just haven't been sleeping a whole lot lately. Last night I stayed up until
late playing Death's Door.
Dude, I stayed up till like 3 a.m. and I'm so close to 100%ing it. And there's like 2 fucking secrets I cannot figure out, man. I cannot figure them out, and it's pissing me off.
Did Devolver Digital help you out at all? Because I saw you tweeted at them.
No, they did not. They did not. I got the true ending. Got the true ending, but there are still 2 extra secrets that I cannot figure out. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, in the way that you inspect items in Souls games, and you can bring up the item and rotate it, similar to like Resident Evil games, couple things in some of these items that you need to look around for.
See, I hate that. That's like my least favorite thing about Resident Evil when it comes to solving shit. It's like, the whole time I just need to rotate this item and look at the bottom because there's a button there for some reason. I had to
but there's no button or anything bullshit like that. It's just more of this thing that I'd been looking at and trying to figure out since episode 1 of the playthrough that I put up, of like, this has got to be a puzzle. There's no way this is not a puzzle. Couldn't figure it out and said, screw it, I'll move on. And then one thing, when you beat the game, every door will shine pink if there's still a secret there. Okay. And the doors that you're cleared are no longer sort of emanating this light. And so I'm like, God damn, what is this secret? I know that, and I just happened to go through the items, and then I rotated. I was like, I had one of those moments, bless.
That's awesome.
One of those moments. So
I really wanted to get back into playing Death's Door last night because I saw. We talked about it a little bit on the Gamescast, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But Roger retweeted how long to beat, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's a 6-hour-long game to beat." And Roger was like, "Yeah, this is true," but I kept playing, and realizing that it doesn't take that long to beat made me go, "Okay, cool. I can sit down with this in 1 or 2 nights and just knock it out, and probably get addicted to it through doing that. But hopefully be able to get through it, so I can get on to other games." And so that was my plan last night. But I got derailed by a little indie title called GTA Online.
Oh, Jesus.
I ended up playing for 3 hours last night.
Brand new game.
On Twitch. Brand new game. They did have a brand new update, though, that is kind of fire. I'm feeling the new GTA Online update. It basically includes this Fast and Furious like car tuner culture where you go to this car meet, you can pimp out your ride, and you can show off your ride and hang out and do races, like underground races and all this stuff that makes it feel like a Need for Speed Underground combined with Fast and Furious. And I've been absolutely loving it. I think I'm gonna play more of it. Like usually I'm in and out of GTA Online a lot of the time, but this one might be the one that has me in for quite a few hours.
That sounds kind of sick, actually. That sounds pretty
It's really cool.
I saw you make the call on Twitter and be like, "Anybody want to hop in?" And I politely declined, and I said, "No, thank you."
Fair enough. I try to get Game Honest in there too.
Snug Slacks in chat says, "Don't you hate puzzles, Andy?" I do, but I wouldn't really go as far to say that Death's Door has super puzzly type moments. They are so quick and so easy to figure out, and I think the game would be a bit tougher if the puzzles were a tiny bit tougher. A lot of the times, the puzzles that you're doing in Death's Door, I think, are just more about doing it and less about figuring them out. Because it's obvious, I shoot that thing and I shoot that thing, and this brings me here, as opposed to there being something you need to uncover. Like when I think this game is more about uncovering mysteries than it is about solving puzzles.
Yeah, I'm with that too. I'm trying to find a trailer for this GT Online Tuners thing. Kevin, if you're able to find it and pull it up, that'd be great, because it's actually like really fun. Last night on stream, I spent 30 minutes straight just tuning up a car in the garage, like adding in all these customization features, making it look dope. I have a dope ass yellow car with a dope ass livery to it, reminding me of playing Forza Horizon a bit. It's a really cool thing. I want to check.
I can't wait for Forza, man.
I can't wait for Forza either. But for
Holy
now,
cow.
let's get into housekeeping. There's a new Gamescast that I was talking about just now where we review Death's Door, but then also we talk a lot about Metal Gear Solid. And so check that one out. It's one of my favorite episodes of Gamescast we've done so far because it is legitimately the second half of it is just us nerding out. Because if you've been following, Barrett's been playing Metal Gear Solid on the Twitch streams, trying to go through all the games. We're halfway through Metal Gear Solid 1 right now. And it's kind of relivened this Metal Gear Solid culture at Kind of Funny, which I cannot be more happy about because all of us here, for the most part, really love Metal Gear Solid. And I think it's like the one game where I feel like we're all different kinds of gamers, right? Like, Andy loves the Hyper Light Drifters and the Valorants and the indie games, right? Greg loves his weird narrative games and Avengers and Division and shit, right? Tim loves the Nintendo stuff. I love the stuff I love, right? But Metal Gear Solid is like the one thing where we all hold hands on, and we're just all big fans of this thing. And so for the second half of the Gamescast, we're talking about that, and I cannot recommend that episode enough. So go check that out on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, and also on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. A new party mode where we preview Aliens Fireteam Elite is up right now. Andy, can you tell me about that?
The embargo's finally up on Aliens Fireteam Elite. We decided to play it for a party mode. I watched it back, and Roger did a phenomenal job with the edit. I do need to make clear for like the 90th time, though, this was not a sponsored thing. We were not asked to play this. It was more of a, hey, shit, this would be a good idea to play and also record for a potential party mode. So me, Greg, and Nick hopped into Aliens Fireteam Elite. It's what you would expect it to be. It is 3 characters, soldiers that you can sort of deck out and figure out what loadouts you want to be. There's, I believe, 5 different classes you can choose from, and all of those classes have different passive abilities. Like when we played Second Extinction, the game with the dinosaurs, very similar to that game. But I would argue that this game is actually a bit more polished than I assumed it would be, and it ran really well, and the environment's pretty nice and kind of scary in some moments, kind of spooky. And you expect that from an Aliens game. I think they nailed the sort of lighting and the mood of a lot of those areas that we've sort of ran through. And different classes of aliens. There's poison ones. There's like gigantic sort of ones that have more health and maybe are resistant to something. Who knows? There's a lot of different types of aliens, but it was kind of spooky. There was some good moments where we had some good scares, like, holy shit, they were being overrun. Let's fall back. Like, it was really fun. I was not expecting to have that much fun with it, especially with a game that I feel like we've played a lot of before. We've played this type of game plenty of times before, and I think they sort of nailed the aesthetic of it all. So it's definitely one that I want to play on stream again whenever the game comes out.
Hell yeah. And if that's not enough games content, right after this, we're streaming Doki Doki Literature Club right after this episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily, again, right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. And that's going to be the crew you expect, right? That is Snow Michael, Nick Scarpino, Joey Noel, and they are being joined by one, the only, Timur Hussein. And so get hyped for that. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Donovan Harkness and Blackjack. Today we're brought to you by Purple Mattress, Canva, and Freshly, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 8 stories today. And even though we have a packed Roper Report, I am starting this off. Kevin, I dropped the trailer in assets. We are watching this GTA Online trailer because it is a cool thing. It is a cool thing. I don't mean to be on here and be a GTA Online evangelist because I know you guys already know the gospel of GTA Online.
Where's the link? Where'd you
I dropped in assets.
I love the idea of Blessing. Like, guys, you gotta check this out.
You gotta
like,
check out this new indie game.
We played it in 2014.
No, but like, listen,
and it's still
right?
broken as shit, right?
Yes, but like, it's fun though. It's fun broken. It's broken in a way that we can all enjoy.
Not.
Oh my gosh!
You start a level and like no one can join with you.
Kevin, think
like,
about the
right.
PTSD of trying to make GTA party modes and the amount of times like, no, lobby closed. All right, well, we're an hour in and we've recorded 10 minutes of something.
Which is why I can't wait for the PS5 version because they're probably going to fix a lot of those things.
You were delusional.
This is something that I was talking to Zach last night. So Kevin's brought up the trailer here. This is something I was talking to Zach last night because I was playing with What was that?
Just mute it. Yeah, just mute
Yeah,
it.
just mute it. I was playing with Zach from Kotaku last night, who's played way more GT Online than even I have, and he was mentioning how in this update they took out some of the old stuff because it seemed like online was being bogged down by just how much content there is in there, that it was slowing down the game. And so they have gone through and fixed a little bit of that stuff. There's still a long way to go in terms of servers and lobbies and matchmaking and how troubled that stuff is, but they are getting there. But yeah, this is what the new update looks like, right? Like it definitely has a Fast and Furious vibe. There are underground races you can do. There are car mates where you can show off your cars, but then there are missions that you can basically do Fast and Furious type heists with, which I am all about and I'm excited to jump back into. I was having a blast last night playing this.
I think it's kind of neat that we've gone full circle and come back around to the car culture part of GTA, because for a while there, I mean, the game is still loony as all hell.
Driving
Like,
sucks terribly.
you hop in, there's people in flying cars and that flying sort of bike or whatever. And for a while there, I sort of got a little bit turned off by it. Obviously driving a flying car is pretty sick, but I like my GTA to feel kind of, similar to how more of the campaign feels whenever we would play online. And it reminded me of back when I was really into The Sims, and suddenly the next Sim expansion when I was like 10 years old or whatever introduced like aliens and ghosts, and I'm like, this isn't what I want out of The Sims. So it's interesting to see it kind of get all fantastical and crazy,
like go into like the flying cars and the weird like alien shit in GTA Online, and like having laser rays and all this bullshit, to now being like, no, we're gonna do an update where you race cars. Like that's gonna be
cool.
the thing. You're gonna do high school cars. It's super awesome. Andy, let's talk about story number 1. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut looks awesome. They released a new trailer this morning. Kevin, you can bring up this trailer as I go through the story. I'm going to pull an article from IGN written by Adam Bankhurst titled Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut Iki Island Expansion Story Details in Trailer Have Been Revealed. The story goes like this. New story details in the official trailer for Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut Iki Island Expansion have been revealed ahead of its August 20 release date on PS5 and PS4. Sucker Punch Productions senior writer Patrick Downs took to PlayStation Blog to share more about this new story that allows players to take another adventure with Jin Sakai, complete with new locations to discover, characters to meet, tales to complete, and more. Iki Island is a real island to the southeast of Tsushima, and it was also invaded by Mongols during the time period that inspired Ghost of Tsushima. In the expansion, Jin Sakai learns of a mysterious Mongol tribe that has gained a foothold on Iki and is led by a revered shaman called Ankshar Khatun. This shaman is known to her followers as the Eagle, and not only is she a conqueror of nations, but she is also a shepherd of souls and presents a danger to Jin and people unlike any they have faced, or Jin and his people unlike any they have faced. To stop this threat, Jin must return to Iki, a place he has gone once before. He will need to confront his old fears and deeply buried traumas while stopping Khatun and her followers. In doing so, he will also learn about the dark past of Clan Sakai. Sucker Punch has also revealed that their version of Iki Island provides a stark contrast to Tsushima. It's a wild and lawless land of raiders and criminals that is scarred by memories of war and fiercely independent. The samurai have not been in control there for decades. To complete this mission, Jin will need to work with or around a coterie of unsavory characters. Jin will encounter pirates, smugglers, mad monks, and haunted caves on his journey to Iki, and will be able to hear new legends and learn new techniques along the way. There will also be, quote, intimate, emotional, personal stories, end quote, about people struggling to let go of old hatreds and surviving a brutal war. Quote, with everything that has happened this past year, it's no accident we also wanted to tell a story of healing. And we felt this would pose a unique and compelling challenge for Jin, Downs wrote. Quote, we all suffer wounds from the humblest farmer to the mightiest Jito. Wounds from the past that we carry with us. And the thing about a wound is that you can't fight it or stealth your way around it. Ghost weapons and samurai techniques won't help you. A wound can only be healed, end quote.
Why did that give me goosebumps?
Right? I felt the same way, right? Like reading through it. I really liked Ghost of Tsushima's story, but I wasn't really expecting anything from the expansion that would hit me on a personal level. But reading this description of it and reading the new details, I'm like, shit, man, this actually sounds really cool, and I love where they're coming from with this. Andy, does this speak to you at all?
For sure, especially as somebody who just kind of gave up on Ghost, and after being so addicted to it, and it was I was just so tunnel vision focused on this game, and I played it and I was so addicted to it, and I'd wake up and play more and go find this other island. Then out of nowhere I just sort of dropped it for probably another game that was out, and then there went all my attention. No longer am I hyper focused on it anymore. So I am very excited to go back, not only for all these enhanced visuals, but this added story, this added sort of thing just seems so
Charts over there, like at the
like
very
maybe it's something that they've been wanting to add, and it seems like it's going to be filled with substance and cool moments and cool characters that are, you know, probably eventually just going to become somewhat main cast whenever people talk about the rest of the cast of characters in Ghost. That the Eagle lady just sounds like is going to be a dope ass sort of villain throughout all of this. And the idea of, like, when you were reading and I'm looking at the places that you're going to explore, and it says that there are like haunted caves and new areas to explore. It just sounds like this is going to be packed with content in a way that I don't really think we were necessarily preparing for.
Yeah, there was an article about a week or so ago that was talking about how it was reported that the length of the Iki Island expansion was going to be like 15 hours, which is way more than I would have expected. And I believe Greg was talking about it on one of these shows, talking about how, like, wow, that
wasn't
seems way
confirmed,
more.
was it?
Wasn't confirmed, no. But the amount of content that they're talking about in this blog post over on the PlayStation blog kind of speaks to, this seems more expansive than I would have thought, right? Like, at the announcement of a director's cut and them talking about a DLC expansion, I would have thought, cool, that sounds like 6 hours of content, maybe 7 hours of content if we're lucky.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're talking about one, having Iki Island be a stark contrast to Tsushima, which to me reminds me a little bit of Legends. Which Legends, for those who may have skipped it, was basically this weird mythical version of Tsushima that went more extreme with the colors, went more extreme with the enemies, went in really weird and unique places with the entire design of it all, just from a visual and even a gameplay, the gameplay elements of it. And that was a lot of time in terms of the gameplay time you're putting into Legends if you're going to play through all this stuff, including the raid and all the different chapters and the survival modes and all that stuff. That was a substantial amount of content. And for them to do this whole island expansion and have it be a thing where they're like, no, this too is also going to feel completely different from Tsushima in terms of the tone and style and all that stuff in the island. That makes me think, okay, they're going to put a lot of work into this thing, and they're probably going to make sure that we get our money's worth, and they also get their development time's worth of, no, you guys are going to do some shit here, right? Like, you guys are going to meet new characters, you're going to go through a story, you're going to like really get familiarized with Iki Island in a way where we're going to make this thing last maybe way more than 6 hours. You know, whether we get that 15 hours that was rumored, wait to see. You know, I don't want to just try and lean on rumors and then get disappointed by the end product if it's not that long. But I am very impressed by what they're talking about in this blog in terms of the actual content we're getting. Like, it all sounds super exciting.
Kevin, can you bring up that video one more time and just rewind to, or fast forward, depending on where you are in the video, and go to the 1 minute 26-second mark? I mean, it's great news. All of this is great news, especially for people who already love Ghost. Because to me, this just says that Sony said, hey, great job. This is a brand new IP. You all killed it. It sold really, really well. Maybe don't work on anything brand new at this point. Add to the old game. Here's a buttload of money. And just go make something, you know, expansive and worth playing. Don't just, you know, add a new boss or a new enemy type or whatever. Like, make this worth kind of essentially this upgrade. Like, make that upgrade worth it to the players. I believe, how much is it? $10 extra? $30 extra? What is it?
On PS5, it's going to be the full $70. You can upgrade though for a lower price. But there's a lot of those. Like, there's a lot of prices in that depending on what you're upgrading to. That it could range from $10 to $30 for an upgrade.
Right. Where did you?
126, Kev.
126.
I just love that in this small snippet we go from Control to like Horizon Zero Dawn / Dreams to Ghost of Tsushima. Like, just the sort of contrast of different areas you're going to be running through look so wildly different than what I think you'd normally see in the you know, the standard stock game or whatever. So I mean, it looks like there's going to be a lot of really cool, neat places to explore, and plus a shitload of particles. Give me more, you know, on PS5, add 300% more leaves, and the game's going to be even better.
Oh my god. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima loved those particle effects, especially in that
Love
photo
that
mode.
shit.
But Kevin, if you go back to the part where they're going through the cave and it's like you have like the shiny fauna that's like hanging down from the ceiling. That to me strikes me as Legends in terms of
Yeah.
stylistic. Like that is what Legends did a lot of. And I love the idea that for them right here, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? For them, it seems like they were almost like, cool, we did this in Legends. We really like how this looks stylistically. We can have that feed into the main game in a way that doesn't really conflict with hey, we want to make Legends its own thing. But you know, the purples, how colorful this looks, how shiny it looks, really does evoke. Okay, cool. This is the main game. Like this isn't this weird demonic Legends spin-off thing. This is Legends, but this is Ghost of Tsushima proper, but we are taking influence from what we learned while making that expansion, which I absolutely love and adore, and this is going to shine on PS5, and it even
Yeah,
gets me more excited about a possible sequel. Like if this is how good a director's cut is going to look like, just wait until Ghost of Tsushima 2, because I'm sure that's going to look even better.
Hopefully there'll
All
be
about it.
PS5s to buy.
Hopefully there will be PS5s to buy. Andy, let's move on to story number 2. Netflix's gaming expansion starts with mobile. I'm pulling from Jay Peters at The Verge. Netflix revealed that its initial efforts in gaming will be focused on mobile games and that the games will be included with users' Netflix subscriptions, the company announced as part of its second quarter earnings report on Tuesday. The news comes just days after the company said it hired former EA and Oculus executive Mike Verdu to head up its gaming work. Here's exactly what Netflix said about gaming from its letter to investors. Quote, we're also in the early stages of further expanding into games, building on our earlier efforts around interactivity, e.g. Black Mirror Bandersnatch and our Stranger Things games. We view gaming as another new category for us, similar to our expansion into original films, animation, and unscripted TV. Games will be included in members' Netflix subscription at no additional cost, similar to films and series. Initially, we'll be primarily focused on games for mobile devices. We're excited as ever about our movies and TV series offering, and we expect a long runway of increasing investment and growth across all of our existing content categories. But since we are nearly a decade into our push into original programming, we think the time is right to learn more about how our members value games. There are still no details on what type of games will actually be available, and then this is not Netflix speaking anymore. This is now back to The Verge. There are still no details on what types of games will actually be available, though Netflix recently extended its TV deal with Shonda Rhimes to include feature films and gaming content. There's also no word on how games will be delivered to Netflix subscribers. Andy, this has been an ongoing saga over the last few weeks of us talking about Netflix getting into games. There was a report about PlayStation possibly partnering with Netflix for some things. For you, what does this look like? What is your takeaway from Netflix getting into games and them seemingly starting off with mobile?
It seems like the right move business wise, but it's one of those that I fail to see succeeding in the long term. And I think it'll last a long time, but it'll be the games tab whenever you open up the Netflix app on your phone or your iPad or whatever, and that games tab will rarely ever be accessed. I think people kind of know how to access their games. When we talk about, people that aren't gaming on consoles or gaming on their iPads or whatever, or on their iPhones, um, people know how to get their shit. They know how to get their farm bills from back in the day. This isn't necessarily a new concept. So I don't necessarily know who this is reaching. It'd be one thing if maybe there were reports out there that, a lot of people working from home after the long day at work maybe don't know how to access that new fucking Angry Birds game or whatever. Like, I feel like this is it's well-treaded territory, and I don't really know who this is going to be accessed by, unless there's a crazy good exclusive thing that you need to experience on mobile. And I don't really see that happening. I don't know. I seem very kind of like, this seems like it'll happen. And this is like, to me, Ubisoft partnering with Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's something that's news will be released about a game being released on there, and we'll talk about it one day and never talk about it or hear about it again.
Andy, this reminds me a lot of Amazon Prime Music push, where it's like, oh yeah, That's right. Amazon Prime gives you access to Amazon Prime Music, but I never use it. Just 'cause,
Yeah, even though the service is there, and obviously
yeah,
it's
totally.
something that people utilize, but it reminds me a lot. This reminds me a lot of pushes that Google has done with Android, with access the Play Store and the Play Arcade. It's going to remind me of Apple Arcade as well. I just don't really, I don't really know who this is going to serve, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you both nail it in terms of both the Google and Amazon comparisons. This reminds me of both of them actually making their big video game pushes and not seeming to be too successful with that. Like Amazon now has Luna, which seems to be a better thing than what was it, Crucible that came out last year that came and went, and other Amazon games that came and went. We now have New World, which is the MMO that I believe just launched in closed beta that people are playing. And then like Luna and stuff, which seems a little bit more promising, but when we're talking about Netflix and them comparing it to, hey, we got into Netflix originals, we got into animation, we got into unscripted TV, them comparing their gaming push to that makes me go, all right, we'll see, because video games are an entirely different thing from movie and TV productions. Especially when we're talking about the amount of time it takes to develop video games, when you're talking about what the technology is. Like Netflix is known for streaming video games, entirely different thing. And there were reports before about them talking about downloading being a thing for Netflix, especially for mobile, which makes sense when you combine it with this new story of them primarily being focused on mobile. Even that, Netflix doesn't seem to be. I don't view Netflix as a way to get video games, and of course they're gonna have to convince us of that. But it's hard for me to think of them convincing more people that,
Yep.
hey, like you go to Google Play, you go to the Apple store, you go to PlayStation, you go to Steam, you go to these places for video games. Netflix is being added to the roster of places you go to download your video games or to try out video games. That seems like a Herculean task. With that, I do think that maybe there are alternate visions that they may have that we're not seeing. And for me, my theory comes off of some of the PlayStation stuff we saw last week in terms of what that partnership may be, and also them talking about Bandersnatch and other things. I wonder if they are going to go for a PlayLink style thing. I wonder if they are going to try and do double down on the Bandersnatches and be like, cool, that was a test for us, but what if we did do a Stranger Things episode that you play in front of where you and your friends download a mobile app and then you play in front of your TV to make choices, right? Or maybe each of you play a specific character, and as the story goes, you guys make choices as that character, kind of like Hidden Agenda for PlayStation PlayLink. Like, I wonder if there's something there. I wonder if there might be even an explicit partnership there that makes sense, because PlayLink was something that PlayStation tried to push and just stopped pushing after a while. And Bandersnatch for Netflix was something that they wanted to do, or they wanted to try out. And those things interlink in a certain way, right? Like those things interlink in terms of the thought behind them and the way you interact with that, the thought process of what those kinds of games are. I think there could be something there. I don't know if that. I'm not confident that that's what they're doing, but I think that's an idea there that maybe could work out better than them trying to double down in terms of the hardcore gaming audience.
Yeah, I think all of that makes sense. I think Netflix would probably be served best to keep pushing that sort of Bandersnatch thing. And that's what I thought when I first read the headline, Netflix getting into gaming, I immediately think when you bring up the Netflix app on your Xbox or on your TV or whatever, there will be a tab for gaming, and it'll be some, whatever sort of interactive experience. I think that would best suit them. But when they talk about mobile, I think it's got to be this sort of selection of choices or whatever, like you were mentioning earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I think the people that have Netflix know how to get their games, and know that they are even interested in gaming. So it's one of those weird sort of things where there are still people out there who don't even know what Netflix is or really how to access it, right? But I think the people that do have this service know what they want, and they know that they are into games or not. And I don't really think that you show my dad, who watches Netflix all, at night or whatever when he gets home from work. I don't think my dad is gonna log in and say, "Oh, you know what? I am interested in games. Thanks for asking, Netflix." No, like if you're into video games, you're playing them already. So this is kind of one of those weird things that I think will be introduced and likely be forgotten about.
Yeah.
I just don't really see there being a whole lot of success there.
Yeah. I also look at toward the ending of the article, right? They mentioned that Netflix recently extended its TV deal with Shonda Rhimes to include feature films and gaming content. And that could just be a contract thing. That could just be language that they started to work in with this new strategy push. But in theory, if they're having their traditionally TV and movie directors have that in there and maybe work on that type of content, for me, that strikes me as it's not Shonda Rhimes directing a video game by any means. It might be a, hey, let's do a How to Get Away with Murder interactive experience where people are making choices and playing alongside Viola Davis or whatever that may look like, right? I think that makes more sense, and I think that would speak to Andy's dad, who's like scrolling through Netflix and may not care about video games, but may like How to Get Away with Murder and see, How to Get Away with Murder interactive experience with the family. Click it, and it's like, oh, here's a thing for us to do. I think there might be value there, but it's all in the air right now in terms of what Netflix is planning, and with what we've seen before with the rumors and reports, right? Like I believe the thing was there was a Ghost of Tsushima image on a Netflix thing that leaked. Like I don't know if that lines up with that, but again, who knows, man? This is all strange new thing. This is all strange new territory they're entering in.
Yeah,
With
they're about
Netflix
to
and
hike
video
up that.
games.
I know they
So
said there's no price change, but it like,
no, they're hacking that
god
thing up.
damn.
They're hacking that thing
I
up.
feel like every year it's going up, but I'm probably paying like $40 a month now. I don't even know it.
Speaking of film and video games, story number 3, District 9's Neill Blomkamp is working on a video game. This is from a website in which I forgot to copy and paste the source. And so I'm going to copy and paste the text in Google. Google's going to take me to VG247, written by Sheriff Saeed. Neill Blomkamp has seemingly finally decided to turn his love for video games into something big. Neill Blomkamp, the South African director behind sci-fi films District 9, Chappie, and Elysium, has joined indie studio Gunzilla Games. Blomkamp assumes the role of chief visionary officer and will be helping the team with its first project, a multiplayer shooter. The game itself has not been revealed, but Blomkamp's involvement was announced today. The project will be Gunzilla's first game, and the studio has 3 teams in Los Angeles, Frankfurt, and Kiev, made up of former EA, Ubisoft, and Crytek developers. I definitely mispronounced. Is it Kiev? Kiev?
Kiev, yeah.
Kiev.
Yeah, you got it.
Kiev. Okay, I got it. Blomkamp explained to IGN what it actually means to be Chief Visionary Officer, an unusual job title. Quote, "It comes from a place of bringing directorial skills that would be along the lines of the films that I've done before to the aesthetic of the game," said Blomkamp. Blomkamp reckons his expertise in world building and film can translate to video games, particularly in creating a compelling world for players to drop into. He also hinted that the game takes place in a near future setting, but wouldn't divulge any more besides. The indie film director is, of course, no stranger to the world of AAA games. He visited Creative Assembly to presumably help the team in some way with its unannounced shooter project. Around that time, he also produced a short with EA called Anthem Conviction to help promote BioWare's loot shooter. The unannounced game is in development for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X/S. Andy, does this one do it for you at all? Are you a fan of District 9? Do you want to see Neill Blomkamp get into video games?
Dude, I just think about how crazy of a sort of, I don't want to say fall from grace, because it's not like Neill Blomkamp's out here, begging on the streets for a job or whatever. But just how I think the expectations that were set from District 9 and how amazing that movie was, and how it looked visually, and how set in the world everything looked, and nothing really looked green screen at the time. I was like, God damn, this is a really great ass concept. And we're being introduced to Charlton Copley, who's like a phenomenal kind of lead in this movie. This is cool as shit. And then every movie since then just kind of like was like less good and then less good. And I don't know. I mean, this totally makes sense to me. I didn't think that when I first read the headline yesterday, I didn't think he was joining a team. I thought it was going to be more similar to, people were making comparisons to George R. R. Martin and sort of doing some consulting work and figuring out the world building of what Elden Ring would be with Miyazaki and From Software. So I thought that's what this was going to be more of. But I didn't know he was actually joining the team and getting a title. I think that's cool. I think he's a brilliant mind, and he has a really good. In a lot of ways, he reminds me of Zack Snyder when it comes to like, I have a good idea for what this should look like visually, and I have, I don't know, but I think conceptually he's just a creative mind, and he deserves to be on a team that utilizes those talents. And I'm excited that the next thing we see from him will have possibly really cool sort of whatever alien and designs and guns and stuff like that. But we'll see if this game actually comes out and becomes anything of note. I didn't even know Gunzilla had 3 studios. That's crazy to me. I thought they were just a much smaller team than that.
Yeah. I like the idea of this. I think the comparison to Elden Ring and George R.R. Martin is a good one, because George R.R. Martin, his role there is basically to fill out the world and really conceptualize what that universe is in Elden Ring, right? Like, he's not working practically on the game or like hands-on in a way that is like the director, right? That he's not doing any Miyazaki shit, but he does have a pivotal role in defining like, what does this look like? What are the edges of this world? What are the races of people or creatures or whatever the things are? Let's set a base and define what all this looks like. And I think it's cool that we can have people from different mediums / like creative pursuits come in and take the experience of working on District 9 and Elysium and being a creative mind in general, and have that and be like, cool, I want to help define what a world looks like in the video game. I might not know shit about making video games, but I know shit about world building, and so let me help out with that and work with a team. Like further on in the article, I didn't include it here, but he talked about how like a big part of making a movie or directing a movie is that you kind of have the final say on things. When you're the director, you kind of have to define what all that looks like. And the difference with working on a game is that there are so many more moving parts. And for him, he is being part of a team more so than having a final say on anything here. And to your point, I think the Zack Snyder comparison is good too, because I could see from watching District 9 and enjoying District 9, right? Like, I could see the idea of, hey, this guy has good ideas. This guy has this stuff. This guy's a talented dude, right? And I don't think that's necessarily a fall from grace, as opposed to just the journey of being a creative or the journey of being a director. Him landing here and being able to take the talent that he has and apply it to a video game. I'm excited to see it, because I want to see what that gives birth to. I want to see more of that, and so. That all sounds cool.
It's interesting. I wonder how those talks even begin. I wonder how those conversations start. Of let's hit up Neill Blomkamp, who's a movie director / sort of, I don't even know what it is he's been doing lately, since I guess Chappie was his last movie, and obviously he did that Anthem thing, which goddamn, I kind of forgot that even happened.
I don't even know what that is.
Like, it was like a little short. It was similar to how Conviction. Halo would have short films, leading up to it. What's up, Kev? Or did Kevin talk?
I don't think.
Oh shit! I thought that was Kevin underneath.
You might have heard me. Yeah. And people say that we sound alike a lot of the time.
They do. They do.
That's my laugh. This sounds a lot like Kevin's laugh.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
It's my best Kevin impression. Of course, folks can go over to patreon.com/kindafunnygames where they can get the show ad free. But guess what? If you're watching this part of the show, that means that you didn't. And so here are some ads.
This podcast is brought to you by Purple. Doesn't it seem like the world's against you from getting a good night's sleep this time of year? Boy, I know. It's summertime. It gets hot. You're over there. You're flipping around in the bed. You can't get comfortable. It's 1,000,000 degrees. You're flipping the pillows. You're still upset. You're sweating all the time. It's disgusting. But when you have a Purple mattress, ladies and gentlemen, you can sleep cool and comfortable no matter what life throws at you. That's because only Purple mattresses have the grid. Its unique ventilated design allows for air to flow through to help you sleep cool, even when it feels like 1,000 degrees out. We know all about Purple because, of course, Joey Noel uses a Purple mattress. She loves it. She says the grid is great, better than foam. And, of course, it has been keeping her cool for quite some time. Try your Purple Purple mattress risk-free with free shipping and free returns. Financing is available too. Purple is comfort reinvented. Right now, you'll get 10% off any order of $200 or more. Go to purple.com/games10 and use the promo code GAMES10. That's purple.com/games10. Promo code GAMES10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/games10. Promo code GAMES10. Terms apply. Up next is Canva. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that we use Canva here? It's a thing that helps you learn. It helps you figure out how you're gonna do. Are you working in Photoshop? Are you working in video? Are you doing stuff like that? Canva's got you covered. That's why Tim's been using Canva Pro. Canva Pro is the easy to use design platform that has everything you need to design like a pro. It's a quick, easy, and affordable way to design whatever you need. No matter what you're creating and sharing, Canva Pro has everything you need in one place, including a collection of over 75 million premium photo, videos, audio, and graphics. Tim's been using this. Roger's been using this. Nick has been using this. Of course, anybody who's making anything at Kind of Funny that's not just screaming into a microphone like me, they need graphics, you need videos, you need to get in there, you need audio like they're talking about. Canva Pro has it all. It's perfect for small creators, big creators, any creator. Design like a pro with Canva Pro. Right now, you can get a free 45-day extended trial when you use our promo code. That's canva.me/KFGD. canva.me/KFGD. Canva.me/KFGD for more. And our final sponsor of the day, ladies and gentlemen, is Freshly. Dinner time can be chaotic, but with Freshly, it's easy. Their chefs take care of you and your meals for a few nights a week and take the pressure off of you. Freshly offers chef-made, nutrient-packed, delicious meals delivered fresh to your door, no cooking required. Ordering is easy. You visit freshly.com and choose from over 30 delicious, satisfying, better-for-you meals like steak peppercorn, sausage baked penne, or their chicken pesto bowl. Freshly can fit your lifestyle with a variety of plans and meals to pick what you want when you need it. It'll do your dietary needs, preferences, taste, and family size. I still subscribe my father to Freshly. I go through, I pick the little meals on freshly.com, and then he gets them prepared, and he can just take them to work, or when he comes home from work and he's exhausted, he can just pop them in and cook them right there, or, warm them up and be ready to eat. Nothing, he doesn't need to worry about it. Dad doesn't need to cook. Number one crane operator Greg Miller doesn't have time for that. Right now, Freshly is offering our listeners $40 off your first 2 orders when you go to freshly.com/games. Stop stressing about dinner. Go to freshly.com/games for $40 off your first 2 orders. That's freshly.com/games for $40 off your first 2 orders.
Story number Kevin's amazing. Story number 4, Pro Evolution Soccer has been renamed eFootball and is fully free to play. This is from Joe Skrebels at IGN. Konami has officially renamed the Pro Evolution Soccer series eFootball, and it will become a digital-only, free-to-play game coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X/S, Xbox One, and PC this autumn, with iOS and Android versions to follow. By this winter, all versions of the game will feature crossplay, although mobile players will need to use controllers to play against console and PC players. It's a major move for the football series, and it's been matched with a shift from Konami's Fox engine to a custom-built new engine created with Unreal 4. Remember Fox engine?
Rest in peace. I mean,
What a beautiful piece of work.
Disappearing like tears in the rain.
God.
An amazing engine. And it was used on a soccer game for the last years of its life, and now it's just being thrown out like a goddamn rag you used to kind of just clean. You thought I was going somewhere dirty with it. I was gonna say a rag that you used to kind of clean, like wood furnishing. You kind of put the little thing on it. You just do that. Yeah, like it's so sad. It's such a sad story.
Yo, Andy, you were gonna use. Come on, Andy. We know what you were gonna say.
What?
Say it, Andy. Don't be cowards. Go ahead and say it. Let the people know what you're really gonna say.
Wood finishing, man.
Wood finishing. Crucially, it appears that all versions of the game, from new-gen consoles to mobile, will be functionally the same, presumably meaning that the hugely successful PES Mobile will also be phased out or replaced. Speaking to IGN, series producer Seitaro Kimura explained that eFootball is aiming to take a platform approach with regular updates. There will no longer be annual paid releases of eFootball, but the platform will get free yearly updates for new seasons. eFootball will launch with exhibition matches and seemingly a selection of 9 clubs to play with. It will subsequently sell other modes as optional DLC, seemingly allowing players to pay for what they want out of their game. No mention has yet been made of My Club, PES's equivalent to FIFA Ultimate Team, or Master League, the series' long-running career mode, although it seems likely that the former will be represented by an unnamed team-building mode coming after release. this is an interesting one. I feel like there's a lot of places where we can jump in here in terms of how we feel. You mentioned the engine thing, which very sad story, the Fox engine,
Very sad
because
story.
god damn it was that engine so beautiful for Metal Gear Solid 5 and just not used for anything of substance.
I think
since.
I think the obviously the to me the bigger news is this sort of, I don't want to say mainline sports games. I know that PES is definitely a lot smaller. I think over the years I think FIFA's sold like 3 times as many copies as PES has over its lifespan.
Hmm.
But yeah, the idea of getting rid of the sort of annualized sequels, I think, is kind of big for a game on this level.
Andy, Dave Norridge writes into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, just like you can, and says, "Hey, Bless and Andy, Konami have revealed that PES is now eFootball and will be going free to play later this year. With games becoming more and more complex, annualized sports titles often get criticized for being too similar to last year's entry. Could eFootball represent a direction that other sports titles such as FIFA, Madden, and NBA 2K adopt in the near future? Modes such as FIFA Ultimate Team are already monetized to the moon, so it is feasible a free-to-play model will work and allow the developers to implement gameplay changes as and when they see fit on an annual basis." Would love to know your thoughts, Dave. Dave, thank you for your question. Andy,
I mean, it
continue.
all depends on what's bringing in more money. Will you get more money from Madden Ultimate Team and FIFA Ultimate Team as you would from an annualized release? Are there other monetization opportunities inside of the game? Could you maybe monetize cosmetics at a point? Maybe you release new hairstyles or whatever for your football player or whatever. I don't think so. I think they do make way too much money on annualized copies. But you start to get to that territory, Bless, where would monetizing a free-to-play, constantly running platform, is there less dev time being put into that? And that's obviously less money to spend on, right? Like it all depends on what your return is, opposite of what you're spending on the product. So maybe you get to a point where you realize, you know what? We're making a lot of money on these games every year they come out, but we're also spending a lot of money on these games as we are developing them. So maybe it does cause less to have a constantly running platform. And we know that these next gen consoles are here to stay for the next, 8 years or so or whatever, 5 to 10 years, however long these companies decide to do it. And we can adapt and keep on building on it and maybe not have to do massive changes and not have to bring a gigantic team back to work on this. But we can keep a tight ship and just sort of update here and there, hire artists whenever we need to. We don't have to, we can keep the programming people on full time. Like those are all the sort of things that you think about as a studio. And shit, I would love if they started to go that route, But when we think about these multiplayer games we love, Warzone and Valorant and Rainbow Six Siege and all that, they're not really making, Call of Duty's making sequels, obviously, but it's an ever growing sort of platform that new things will happen. There'll be a new season and there will be new players and new updates. It's really interesting shit to think about.
Yeah. And I think there is 100% a future for turning annualized sports games into platforms. I don't know if that future is now, but I think it's approaching. I think turning PES into eFootball and making it free to play is the right move for PES, especially when you talk about the competition with FIFA and how FIFA is clearly dominating that competition. Like FIFA is the more widely known game. FIFA is more popular. FIFA sells more. And when you're a PES and you're going head to head with a game like that, you kind of have to make big moves in order to stay relevant, in order to justify your own existence. That combined with Konami probably not wanting to have to worry about releasing a game every single year, because Konami over the years has leaned away from doing big game releases as often, like nearly as often. I think this 100% makes sense and provides people a way to just get in. Like there's so many people who are like, yo, I just want to play a soccer game. I just want to play a soccer game. And so whatever's available, I will play. And if that means a free to play eFootball game, that is going to speak to a large amount of people. That would have spoken to me like 10 years ago, before I started buying FIFA games regularly. Like
a cross progression type game, maybe like
yeah.
cross play and all that shit. I think that's I think that could be a huge opportunity for them.
Especially when you have that on mobile as well, right? Like when you can play on your phone and then be like, cool, I'm home now. Let's boot up the PS5 or let's boot up the PC and play there on my TV. I think that's gonna speak to a wide audience, and I think that's super smart for PES. But I think for eFootball. But I think for eFootball that also is the move that they need to make, because again, they're being compared to FIFA. Whether or not FIFA eventually gets there, it comes back to what you're talking about, Andy, in terms of what is going to make more money. Right now, FIFA is still selling copies year over year. Like, they're still very profitable. They're also profitable because of how amazing Ultimate Team, or when I say amazing, I mean how popular Ultimate Team is. But when you can make the Ultimate Team money and you can make the selling copies of FIFA money, that's money that you like.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's the best of both worlds for them. Right there, they're like, yo, let's just keep this going for as long as it goes. And once you start to see maybe dips in terms of the annualized sales for FIFA copies, that's when you start to see the gears turn for EA to go, all right, maybe we'll make more money with Ultimate Team now that people aren't showing up for FIFA year over year over year. But until then, I think we're still going to see this. I think a more interesting question is, do we see uh EA do NBA Live free to play, right? Like, I think that's more of a viable move when you talk about the competition between that and NBA 2K, right? Or even the golf games now, because I believe we have two different golf franchises going on between 2K Golf and PGA Tour. You know, do we see one of those buckle because the other one gets so much success? I think those are the more I think those are more applicable questions when it comes to this specific situation.
It's exciting stuff. Did you know that? Did you know that Clap Hands has a mobile iOS golf game?
They do.
I didn't
Clap
know that
Hands
until I saw
Golf.
Tam tweet about it.
Apparently, I told Greg about it the moment I saw it announced, and I think he tried it, but he didn't like it as much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so who knows? I have my Android, and so I can't play it because it's on Apple Arcade. But
I got my iPad, but you know I'm Android for life, baby. Come on.
hell yeah.
Android
Uh,
baby.
We got a few quick hits here. Let's go with story number 5. Epic Games has acquired Sketchfab. This is Sean Murray, not the game developer, at TheGamer. Sketchfab is a 10-year-old tech company that specializes in 3D modeling software that can interface through a web browser. Sketchfab also has a storefront that lets developers buy and sell 3D models for various applications, one of those being game development. Today, Epic has purchased Sketchfab for an undisclosed sum. Epic didn't reveal any special plans for Sketchfab, and it seems like Sketchfab will continue operating and offering its services to whoever is willing to pay for them. The only difference is that Sketchfab will now take a smaller cut of all 3D models sold on its platform. Quote, the Sketchfab team has done an incredible job opening up the world of 3D content on the web and enabling anyone to edit and publish content online, said Epic's Unreal Engine VP and General Manager Mark Petit. Quote, as the adoption of real-time 3D technology continues to grow, demand for web-based solutions will only increase. We're excited to work together with the Sketchfab team to empower even more creators. End quote.
It's weird because Epic does the same thing. Epic has their online store through Unreal, and they also offer the same thing where you can buy 3D models or buy textures or things that people make and kind of say, hey, you're a game developer, you're not an artist, come buy my assets. So it's kind of interesting. I assumed it just would have been a full company absorption. Maybe that will happen in the future. I thought it just would have been, hey, we're taking over Sketchfab. This is now Sketchfab by Epic, and you can still access it, but it's basically you're accessing our Epic Games portal. It's weird hearing the word Sketchfab. Like, that was such a ubiquitous word when I was in college and uploading 3D models and stuff. And I don't know. I mean, they kind of offer the same stuff that Epic offers, except for the viewable 3D models through the web browser. I don't think that's something that Epic really does or is known for. Undisclosed sum. How much do you want to guess? $300, $400?
Ooh. See, I don't know how you mentioned Sketchfab being like ubiquitous in terms of like their name if you're doing 3D modeling. And I don't know when you talk about Epic also having like that, like they also do the same thing, right? Like, I wonder how much value that is, because for me, I look at this as one or two things, right? This is them buying them so they can expand their own 3D modeling stuff that they're doing, or this is just them buying the competition so that they don't have to compete anymore. And the value of that, a billion? That feels like a lot. 300 million? Like, how much is 3D modeling? Like, how like for what Sketchfab does, right? Like, how valuable is that to the space? I think is the question.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it depends on
What's your guess?
how many regular customers that they got working there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
How many regular customers they have going to the store and buying these 3D models? Because I don't think they're purchasing them for the tech that you could view a 3D browser or view a 3D model through a web browser. I think it mostly is this storefront. I'm gonna put 200 million on it.
200 million. All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 300 million.
Wow.
I said a billion because I was thinking about Beats by Dre and how that turned Dr. Dre into a billionaire, and I was like, yeah, that was a wild thing, wasn't it? Good for him. Good for him. Another one for quick hits. Story number 6. Ubisoft's Tom Clancy mashup game Elite Squad is shutting down. This is Matt Purslow at IGN. Yeah. Ubisoft has announced that its Tom Clancy mashup mobile game Elite Squad is to be shut down this October. Revealed on the Elite Squad website in a blog post entitled, quote, "The Story Ends," Ubisoft said, quote, "It is with a great deal of sadness that we are announcing we will no longer be releasing new content for Elite Squad," end quote. A new update released today will be the final content drop for Elite Squad. On October 4th, the servers will be shut down for good, bringing the game's life to an end. So rest in peace, Elite Squad. I think you made it about a year.
I would have, Blessing, if you were to gun to my head, if you were like, Andy, is this game out or not? I would have said no. I would have said no, that this game is still probably in the Skull and Bones sort of area of game development, where maybe it never fully got developed, and maybe it never reached an alpha point and they haven't released it yet. I am. This is a tragedy. This is a tragedy, Bless.
Yeah,
I'm gonna miss the hell out of it.
you're obviously, I think, clearing the way for X Defiant, because that's also going to be another free to play Tom Clancy crossover shooter. But yeah, wild that Elite Squad is already shutting down, which probably means that one, it did not have the player base that they wanted for it, but then also maybe they're like, all right, cool. Well, if this isn't performing, let's clear it so that this thing that is doing similar things is probably going to perform. Kevin, you all good over there? I just heard something drop. You good? You okay?
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds louder than it's supposed to because broadcast just not working for you guys. So the chat didn't hear it.
Got it. Man, this sort of, I mean, we talked about Google earlier, but this reminds me a lot of just how Google shuts shit down when it isn't successful for a year. I mean, well, shit, has it even? Did it say in the article how long?
It didn't say in the article, but I can look it up. Elite Squad, I want to say it's been like a year.
It could be 3.
There are multiple movies, multiple films called Elite Squad.
Of course there are.
Release date August 25th, 2020. So not even a year.
Wow.
Well, I guess it'll shut down in October, so it'll make it a little bit faster than a year. But rest in peace. Yeah, that's really sad. We have a question from Nathan Choquette.
They should have hold on real quick. They should have just posed it as like, this is Mario, the 3D collection that we're only selling until March. They should have like made it be like, hey, we're shutting down in October, like we said we would. It'd be like, damn, I don't remember them saying that, but good for them. They had a good run.
We got a question about Ubisoft's free-to-play effort, but I'm going to save that for the post show. And so there's a tease for you, all right? Look forward to that in the post show. A couple more quick hits. Story number 7. EA Sports PGA Tour is to feature women's golf. This is Matt Purslow at IGN.
Feminism is won. We finally won, everybody.
We're here. EA has announced that its upcoming golf simulator, EA Sports PGA Tour, will feature the Ladies Professional Golf Association, aka the LPGA, tour, along with playable women golfers. The upcoming golf game, which will launch in spring 2022, is set to feature one of the LPGA Tour's 5 major championships, the Amundi Evian Championships, set in the truest representation of France's Evian? I'm going to say Evian. I like Evian. Evian Resort Golf Club, EA Sports PGA Tour, will be the first new generation video game to depict women's golf.
That's crazy. I could have sworn to that. Thing. I mean, we've definitely had women golfers already in games. I think, maybe, I believe.
See, I've not played PGA Tour, but this is something that shocked me too, because I would have thought that women golfers would have already been in there.
Yeah, I don't know. That this is kind of like shocking news to me that it's taken this long, I guess. But also, no, I don't want to give them excuses. But EA Sports PGA Tour has been very kind of fluctuating all over the place and hasn't been the most, consistent, solid brand to have a video game for, because we had all the Tiger Woods EA games that, definitely stopped being made after Tiger Woods ceased being Tiger Woods, and then they had the Rory game for a while. So it's not shocking
Not for a
to
while.
me.
It was 2 years, Andy. It was like 2 years that he had that.
Rory?
Eric Courtney,
Yeah.
from IGN.
Yeah, I just wanted to pop in here because I don't think it's the first time like women are in the game.
Definitely
Wing
not.
fan says, what was it? It's just the tour part. Because like I was gonna say, like my mom, who is barely a gamer, played the fuck out of some Tiger Woods back in the day, and she definitely had her own character and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you for that clarification because that actually makes a lot of sense.
So I guess kind of just
It's the tour specifically.
Yeah, the LPGA kind of introducing that as a concept. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
That makes a lot more sense. Something that doesn't make much sense though. Story number 8. We're getting 3 more Super Nintendo games with Nintendo Switch Online, and none of them are Earthbound. This is Wario 64 that I'm pulling from. 3 Nintendo Switch Online games are coming July 28th. We're getting Claymates.
Oh, my
Jelly
favorite.
Boy.
My second favorite.
And Bombusel.
Oh, one of the games of all time.
At this point, I am convinced that Nintendo is making up games.
WNDs, everybody. I thought when I saw Claymates, I thought it was Clay Fighters, which, as you know, is the terrible fighting game that I loved as a kid because it was like I was playing. Oh gosh, what was that MTV show? What was that MTV show?
Celebrity Deathmatch. Celebrity
Deathmatch. It reminded me of that. It had that same sort of vibe and snark and edginess. And I thought Claymates was Clay Fighters, and now I don't even know what the fuck Claymates is. Jesus Christ, Nintendo.
I mean, I have Kevin, if you want to pull up the trailer, I know we're running late in the show, but I'll rush the rest of it. Because we have a trailer that shows off all 3 of these games. And even watching the trailers, I'm like, you guys just made these games up on the spot, didn't you? To put these on the service because they're not Earthbound.
Claymates is one of Interplay's Clay animation titles, which also included the Clay Fighter series. Okay,
there you go.
Same concept, but not the fighting game. Interesting.
So this is Claymates right here. You got a little green birdie that's going through, picking up gems that look like the Chaos Emeralds from Sonic. Just running through, pecking things around, turn into a little orb there.
A lot of this looks like Sonic. Just gonna say.
This doesn't look anything like Clay Fighter.
Doesn't look as good as Sonic though, you know.
No, it looks on par with Sonic gameplay. I'm gonna be.
Jelly Boy.
This is Jelly Boy. Whoa! You see what he did there? He had like a fist.
This is just a walking nipple. What is this?
Oh, he turned into a hammer, and now he's hammering ice.
Was Clay Fighters cartoony? I thought Clay Fighters did the thing of Mortal Kombat did, where they took still images of actual people. I thought they had still images of actual. No, yeah, it was just straight up anime.
Do you think somewhere Jared Petty's excited for this?
Oh, Jared Petty,
100%.
Oh,
he is so excited right now.
He called it.
Jared Petty is the #1 Jelly Boy fan out there.
Yeah.
Bombusel is an isometric game where it looks like you're walking on tiles and trying not to get trapped or fall down. I would actually try this one out. I'm not gonna lie, that one actually looks like it'd be fun for 5 minutes.
Clay Fighter looks way worse than I remember it. Oh my god.
Andy, I am excited for one day Nintendo to put Earthbound or Super Mario RPG on Nintendo Switch Online, but that day is so far away. If I want to know what's coming out to mom and pop shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily show hosts, each and every weekday, Colonel? Huh.
Yeah.
Snake!
Out today. I wish I could do the Snake voice, man. It's hard. You gotta get that deep, raspy tone.
Behind D. Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here?
Otacon.
We got The Witcher Monster Slayer for Android and iOS, Pokemon Unite for Switch, that's that MOBA, The Last Rolling Hero for Xbox One, Fatal 12 for Switch, Mousebot Escape from Cat Lab for Switch, and then Song of Farsa for PC and Mac. New dates for you, we got Recompile. It's coming to PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC on August 19th. Get hyped for that. That game looks cool. Zombies, a Killer Queen remix. Hey, the first single-player Killer Queen game in Bumblebear Games franchise flees from early access into 1.0 launch on PC Wednesday, September 1st.
Remember Killer Queen? Jesus.
I do remember Killer Queen. I played a little bit of Killer Queen a couple weeks ago at the arcade.
We recorded a live party mode at E3 for it, and there was people. We played against randos. Remember we were talking shit to those kids, Kevin? Just yelling at these little kids.
We destroyed them. You know what I mean?
Yelling at these little freaks.
They were young.
That was the game that we played where Greg discovered the kill switch for the studio.
Oh, that's right. Pokemon Unite, by the way, I think that's going to be the first MOBA I ever play.
Really, dude?
Yeah.
I'll join you on that. If you
Andy,
want.
should I play Pokemon Unite?
We love
what if we
MOBAs.
all play Pokemon Unite, and we get into MOBAs hardcore.
All of us love MOBAs, so I'm in.
Let's fucking do it. And then Idle Manager releases on July 27th, 2021 on PC. We have a deal of the day for you. Amazon's Prime Gaming is bringing the action this month. Beginning today, Prime members can claim the standard editions of Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 on PC, available free from Prime Gaming for a limited time. So if you're a big Battlefield fan, get on that. Of course, people can go over to kindoffunny.com/you're-wrong. That's where you write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and on podcast services around the globe. The Neill Blomkamp writes in to say the Ghost of Tsushima upgrade price is PS4 Director's Cut to PS5 Director's Cut, $10. PS4 base to PS4 Director's Cut, $20. PS4 base to PS5's Director's Cut, $30. So there you go. Like I said, you're paying anywhere from $10 to $30 if you want to upgrade Ghost of Tsushima. And then, okay, here we go. Gabe Hewitt writes in to say, as of 2021, the FIFA series sold 325 million copies. As of December 2020, the Pro Evo series has sold 111 million copies. And so I think you're right. You're spot on, Andy, that it's 3 times as much that FIFA has sold.
Number one game shows. I do my research.
To Pro Evo. That's actually really impressive because I didn't even know that.
I also guessed really well.
That was a really good guess. Like
Thank
you were
you.
actually was really spot on. You should do that. Or you should enter the lottery
Okay.
because you got a gift. That was fantastic. Of course, today is what? Wednesday? Today is Wednesday, which means tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow's hosts for Kind of Funny Games Daily are Tim and Tamor. That's right, you're getting a Tim Tam Thursday. If you're watching this live on Twitch right now, after this is Mike, Nick, Joey, and Tam playing Doki Doki Literature Club. So get hyped for that. Of course, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. We have a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. So stick around for that. Otherwise, till next time, Game Daily. Bye, everybody.